Welcome back. After documenting his thoughts and feelings about his brand new life as a reluctant widower on social media immediately in the aftermath of his wife Andrea's death, Gerry Pelser was encouraged to put together a book by so many of his social media followers. The result is a brutally honest memoir of love, death and life titled Chronicles of a Reluctant Widower. Gerry joins us now via Zoom to tell us more about his journey of dealing with grief and the life that follows. Gerry, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now tell us about, sharing your journey of loss on social media resulted in putting this book together.
It was very unexpected. I never really thought that this was going to happen. It started off with me just basically crying in public, and after a week I thought, no, we can't do this. It's self-indulgent. It's not polite. And then I stopped, and so many people asked me to, Gerry, please carry on. You're putting into words things we feel but cannot say. So I carried on, and this book grew organically, and there we have it.
And why was social media a safe space for you to document these feelings and thoughts that you went through?
I'm not sure whether it was a safe space or just an available space.
Okay.
Because I work from home and my job is fairly solitary, I talk a lot of crap on Facebook every day. It's just a space where I hang out. So it was a known quantity.
Now, this book is centered around the death of your wife, Andrea, who succumbed to breast cancer in 2020. Tell us more about this.
It was very unexpected. We felt a lump in her right breast in February of 2020. Mm-hmm. And the amazing Dr. Carol Ann Ben at the Milpark Breast Care Center of Excellence diagnosed it with breast cancer, and we went on to the standard treatments. But while breast cancer is something like 95% curable and treatable, somebody needs to fall in the other 5%, and Andrea fell into that, and she just couldn't beat it.
And I found that the book is sort of a love letter to your wife. Let's talk about some of the memories that you share about her and about your love in this book.
Look, it is a very self-indulgent part, the first part of the book. It is a love letter to my wife. We've got a lot of memories. We've had the literal fairy tale wedding, and I know that a million people always say that. But Andrea and I got married under a solar eclipse in the North Pole. And there's not many people who can say that. The music concerts we went to, the food we had, the adventures we went on, it was absolutely a brilliant relationship until cancer came and put a stop to that.
Sure. You also detail her death and the gut-wrenching grief that followed soon after. Let's discuss this further.
It was something that I wasn't prepared for, and I've since learned nothing can prepare you for it. This absolute blunt amputation of losing somebody who is literally your world. She was my breadwinner, she was my partner, she was my champion, my fiercest critic, my best friend. And suddenly there's this hole in life that cannot be filled. And I didn't know how to cope with it. I still don't know how to cope with it. But this book helped me figure out what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling it. And according to many other people, it helped them figure it out as well.
I know that nobody could be prepared for death of a loved one especially. And I know that some people find it very, very difficult to come to terms with a death or to even accept death. So is that why you name the book, you name yourself a reluctant widower?
Yeah, because who wants to be an enthusiastic widower?
Right.
I'm grumpy about this whole thing. So sometimes I feel like a petulant teenager. It's so unfair. Why me? Why her? So I don't want to be a widow, but I still want to be married.
Yes.
Why do I need to be in this situation? Which links onto the humor in the book. There's a lot of humor in the book. it is drop dead funny in places. And the reason for that is because laughter is the best medicine. And also, if it wasn't for laughter, there'd be a lot of things I wouldn't be able to react to because it's just too confusing.
And for someone that's currently going through a similar grief that you experienced, what are you hoping that they will take away after reading this book and just the way that you've detailed it?
If there's something that somebody can take away from this book is hold on. You know, to make a pun out of it, there is life after death. It's not the same life. Life is vastly, vastly different. Mm-hmm. But there is life, and life carries on, and you have to find a way of holding on. And the other thing that I would love to say is that there are no rules to grieving. This I found out. There's no right way or a wrong way to go through this. Nobody can tell you you're wrong. Nobody can tell you this is not the way to do it. Whatever the way you find to grieve is the right way. If it gets you through the day, then that's the right way of doing it.
You know, Gerry, I found that this book is very deep and very graphic in detailing some of the life events you and your wife, Andrea, went through. Why did you decide to explicitly share some of these intimate moments?
I wanted to show why Andrea left such a huge gaping hole in my life. Andrea and I were one of the few happily married couples that I know. There's a lot of relationship problems going in my circle of friends and family, and Andrea and I, we were just happy. We enjoyed our life together. We enjoyed our relationship, and I needed to put in some of the great things that we've done in order to give context to the loss that I'm feeling.
You know, take us through the process that went into writing this book, Gerry, and what writing this book has done for you personally and for your journey of healing.
The process of writing this book was very organic. I never intended to write. Well, not this book anyway. But because I cobbled together my daily Facebook posts in what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, my thoughts, my emotions. In about June, July, I had enough material for something semi-substantial. And I was also starting to repeat myself on my topics. You can only say I love her so many times. You can only say I miss her so many times. But then all I had was the actual daily occurrences of what happened. I needed to provide context, and that's when I went into the first part of the book, which you called the love letter, which is correct. That took about another month to write. And I can honestly say writing this book has been literally the healthiest thing I've ever done in my life. It helped me cope. It helped me make sense of things. And it's an homage to my wife. I'm glad I could finally do something that she would be proud of.
You know, Gerry, I know that just listening to you narrate this book and having read this book, I know that a part of you has left you, and Andrea's death has left a huge void in your life. So what is it that you miss about her the most?
Arguing about what to watch on TV. It's actually the small things that I miss the most. It's very easy to say the big things, you know, the love, the companionship. Those are the obvious things, but I find the things that hurt the most are the small things, the tiny things that you forget about. You know, I was walking into Woolworths the other day and I saw some interesting new ingredient I've never seen before. And my first instinct was to reach my phone and say, "Hey, sweetie, they've got this in stock." And it's a small thing because we both were foodies. We loved our food. And now that ingredient sitting there is just there for me. And it kind of takes the fun out of life. I miss the small things, the rock concerts, complaining about whatever some guy is saying on TV. It's, you know, mowing the lawn with her. All the small things on things that trip me up.
I know all the small things make all the difference. I mean, the tiny little memories. And do you perhaps try to forget about her? Well, not forget about it, because you definitely will never forget about her. But some people find it very, very hard to forget about their loved ones. For instance, they take up a phone and they scroll, they stumble upon the numbers of their loved ones. And yeah, it really dawns on them at that particular moment that they're really gone.
This is going to sound strange, but I am embracing the fact that my wife has died.
Okay.
It's an honor and a privilege to feel this deeply, to love this. My dogs are going ape in the background. Puppies, calm down. It's an honor and a privilege to feel this deeply, to hurt this badly. Not many people will get to experience it. And I embrace that. I speak to her daily. I try and consult with her, try and imagine what she would say regarding anything, including this morning when I got dressed for the show. What would Andrea say about my dress code? It's those things that I kind of hold on to, because it gives me a sense of belonging and anchoring me in the world.
Gerry, this is so deep, man. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and for pouring out your heart with us. We do appreciate your time.
It's an absolute pleasure.
All right, thank you. That was Gerry Pelser, and we're just in conversation with him about his book titled Chronicles of a Reluctant Widower, a memoir on love, death and life.